MotorWeek is made possible by Tire Rack.
First up, and rightfully so, is the Ford Taurus and Mercury Sable, all new mid-size front-drive sedans that Ford is putting a lot of faith and money into. After that, we've got yet another Japanese challenge, the Nissan Stanza wagon. Pat Goss will be by to be challenged by a few viewer questions. And Joyce Braga will fill us in on two new European imports, the Yugo and the Alfa Milano. But of course, the big news comes from Motown. Now, even when they have big news, they still worry about a lot of things in Detroit, things like age. Not their own, but the median age of new car buyers. It's around 48 years old for the domestic buyer. For the import buyer, about 35. Now, suppose you're a big shot at a company like Ford, and you know that younger folks have more money to spend these days. You ask yourself, what if we could produce a high-volume domestic car, say a bread-and-butter four-door sedan, that would appeal to those 35-year-old import buyers? We could make big bucks with a car like that. And we know a few companies have tried, but maybe they just didn't try hard enough, say with $3 billion of investment. Now, what do you think $3 billion will get you? Just possibly the most significant new cars of the decade, that's all. The mid-size Ford Taurus and Mercury Sable. What you're seeing represents a whole new approach to the family sedan from Ford, and they're staking much of their future as a U.S. car maker on it. The shape of the Taurus Sable is about as far from the traditional three-box design as a sedan can get. There's not a sharp corner in sight, and the drag coefficient of 0.32 makes this the slipperiest American sedan yet. Even at 0.34, the wagon variant's resistance to the wind is lower than the Thunderbird, the car that started Ford's clean sheet approach only 3 years ago. We tested Taurus and Sable prototypes in various levels of trim at Ford's Dearborn Proving Grounds. Since the cars were very close to production models, we got a good idea of what buyers can expect. Ford's largest front-wheel drive models will get their initial power from a newly designed 3-liter V6 mated to a 4-speed automatic. With multi-point fuel injection, it produces 140 horsepower and 160 pound-feet of torque from its neat transverse layout. Later in the year, you'll be able to get a base 92 horsepower, 2.5-liter throttle body injected 4-cylinder. It'll come with either a 3-speed auto or a 5-speed manual. Acceleration tests for these 2,900 to 3,400 pound models showed good, if hardly heart-stopping performance. The V6 sedan managed a 0 to 60 in 13.5 seconds. That's about what we expect from a family model. But even with a crisp downshift of the automatic, a 40 to 55 passing time of 6 seconds is a tad long. This 4-cylinder manual shift Taurus did better, 0 to 60 in 12.4 seconds. But the most impressive thing about driving the Taurus Sable is its handling. Even the lowest line Taurus L has handling capabilities in the Euro sedan tradition. On Ford's test track, we found moderate plow, but minimal body roll, and no tendency for the tail to swing around when the throttle is abruptly closed. High-speed straight-line stability is also exceptional, even if the ride is still a lot smoother than most Continental Autobahn cruisers. That makes the Taurus Sable more than just a domestic copy of Europe's finer road cars. Taurus Sables have all-independent suspension with the fronts using McPherson gas-filled struts. There's also a front stabilizer bar. A stabilizer is also used on the sedan strut rear suspension on all but the base 4-cylinder Taurus L. Previous Fords had problems with rear-wheel steering when going over severe bumps, cured here with parallel suspension arms. And Taurus Sable wagons get a unique rear suspension with unequal length upper and lower control arms and variable rate coil springs. This makes for a lower, flatter floor than you'd get with the sedan struts. They've also improved their power rack and pinion steering. It's quick with plenty of road feel, but we were able to beat the ability of the power assist with quick wheel cutting in a slalom. To be fair, we had to keep reminding ourselves that these were kid-carrying models, not the higher performance cars they sometimes seem to be. Braking is by way of power disc up front and drums in the rear. Here, our prototypes didn't do as well. Average stops were 145 feet from 55. That's a bit long. They were straight, though, with no fade or premature locking. We were told that regular production cars should do better. There are lots of detailed differences between the Taurus and Sable, unlike companion Ford and Mercury products in the past. But both cars incorporate functional ergonomics. Interiors are also a mixture of the best from Europe and new American car think. There's still room for 6 passengers with the standard front bench seating. The rear seat is higher than in most cars, so passengers can see out better. All the seats are firm, but not too firm, with good all-round support. Front bucket seats are optional on most models. The electrically heated Insta-Clear windshield is a first on the Taurus Sable. Air handling controls use rotary knobs to get precise settings. And this dual sun visor lets you block both front and side glare. On wagon models, you can order a rear-facing seat that folds down for a storage compartment or out as a picnic tray. And all wagons also come with a sleek luggage rack. Outside, the Ford and Mercury lines each have their own sheet metal. While the standard Taurus L has a tempo-like grille, the GL and LX have this more controversial split oval opening. All models have arrow headlights. The Sable extends the treatment from side to side with a unique light bar. Flush side glass and even smaller details like flowing door handles all should contribute to fine everyday fuel economy in the mid-20s for the V6 automatic. And prices? Well, they'll range from $10,000 for the baseline Taurus to $15,000 for the top-grade Sable LS. And they've got lots of options, including an electric sunroof and digital instrumentation. Needless to say, we're impressed. We love the trend-setting design, handling, ride, conveniences, and we could go on. What didn't we care for? Aside from the longish stopping brakes and maybe slightly anemic powertrains of these pilot cars, we couldn't think of a thing. Ford has taken advanced engineering and design, put them together with traditional American car virtues, and wrapped it up in one of the best-looking shapes around. So look out, imports. Some of your buyers might just now have a reason to slip away.